20 matches played since last episode and 3 matches coming up today. But here is a look at the Premier League table. We are 13 points clear with 9 games remaining. It is the start of March in game. We are back for the Champions League knockouts where we've been drawn against Napoli and we are also in the Carabao Cup final. I believe when I left things last time, we were in the quarter-final. We dismantled Leeds 4-0. And across 2 legs, we did get the better of Chelsea. We won the first leg 3-0, lost the second leg 3-2, but obviously the damage was already done. And that has set up today's final, where we will be taking on Jose Mourinho's Brentford. Yeah, that's a weird sentence, isn't it? Football Manager has cooked there. As for things in the Champions League, we did round up the group stage, finishing in the top 6. I left things, I think, with Salzburg and Lens left to play. We actually lost against Salzburg, but we did win our final game against Lens, who failed to win a game in the entire group stage. And with that, we did get a bye to skip a knockout round. And well, as you've already heard, Napoli are our opposition there. Of course, there has also been the January transfer window. 2 notable departures. The first is Josh Achiampong. He was on loan at Southampton for the first half of the season. They made an offer to buy him, and I decided to accept it. It is a small loss, but actually, it's significantly more money than I thought we were going to get for him. He has been a little bit of a dud. And the other sale we've made is a centre-back, an overpaid centre-back at that. Matthias de Ligt, not a bad player, was our vice-captain, but ultimately just wasn't playing very much for me. And to be honest, he's really not a bad defender. I just feel like within our system, where I do need rather athletic centre-backs for a free at the back, he's just never really had that turn of pace when it comes to his acceleration that I desire. He wanted to leave. He was unhappy. We've got £47 million for him. I don't think that's too shabby. And I mentioned that desire to get athletic centre-backs in. Obviously, with 2 departing, I looked to make a replacement. We have signed Lecroix. He was relegated with Crystal Palace last year, was sick of playing in the Championship. We snapped him up for, in the end, £37.5 million. And to be fair, he is just a very smart centre-back, very, very good mentals. Obviously, the 15 acceleration and 17 pace is delightful. And he has also got 15 heading, 15 marking, 14 tackling. In the technicals, there's none of the big, shiny, yellow attributes that make him look world-class, but actually, he does exactly what we need him to do for a backup centre-back. Now, of course, last episode concluded with the game against Man City, and as I mentioned from there's been a lot of matches played. I've talked about the cup games. Let's talk about the league games, where to finish the month, we were almost flawless. A draw against Leeds took the shine off what was otherwise a really, really good win in run. We beat Fulham, we beat Brentford, we beat, obviously, Bournemouth as well, and into the month of January, the fixture schedule really didn't ease up. We beat Wolves 1-0, Morrow with a very important goal there. We cruised through the FA Cup 5-0 against Cardiff, and following on from that, we absolutely demolished Leicester. Wins against Aston Villa, Spurs and QPR followed. 3 clean sheets in a row was nice, and the win against Tottenham was notable. At the time, they were the team directly behind us, and in the end, it was Benjamin Sesko with a very early goal that ended up being the difference maker. Elise has been so good with his assists. Admittedly, on that occasion, the Rabona didn't work out, but Livramento gave it to Sesko, who had a lot to do, and found the back of the net. And well, unfortunately, if Premier League rivals were hoping for our downfall, it didn't happen through the month of February either. We were really good here. Win against Burnley 2-1. FA Cup win against Crystal Palace. Lecroix made his debut in that game against his former club. We beat Newcastle 5-0. One dose of disappointment, I suppose, was this defeat against Everton. Yeah, we've not lost many games this year. To lose at home against Everton just felt like a bit of a weird one. Admittedly, I had rotated the team. In the end, it was Alcaraz's lone effort that won them the match. Most recently, we did take on Chelsea. They took a rather late lead in this game. It was Kolo Muani in the 72nd minute. And when that went in, I kind of had to rip up the game plan away from home, go on the front foot, and well, Esteval, against his former club, you know, he got a little bit of revenge. I feel like he always gets man of the match whenever we play Chelsea. In this game, he really inspired the comeback. Scored 6 minutes after Koloani scored just 5 minutes after that. And not long later, with 3 minutes of added time showing on the clock, Benjamin Sesko, who has been out injured for an extended period of time, popped up with a 3rd goal to confirm the result. And well, as I've just mentioned, we have been without Sesko for a hot minute. He's been out with this moderate calf strain, kind of rushed him back a little bit to play in that Chelsea game, just out of desperation to come back. Has missed 5 weeks of football with this injury, and that has actually been kind of a fairly significant number of games. When you look at things here, all the way from the game against Lens to the game against Everton, we were without him. I did fear that that might put a little bit of a strain on our team, but to be fair, CDK has popped up with some really nice goals, and Ryan has scored a few goals of late, but well, you might notice something. I've agreed to sell Ryan at the end of the year. Might come as a little bit of a shocker, this one. Yeah, he's going to go to Eintracht Frankfurt for £50 million. I was actually looking to sell him in January to sign a replacement. Obviously, I didn't sell him before the window closed, which was annoying, but now that we have sold him, I've arranged the transfer of the player who I wanted to sign in January to be our striker, and that man is this bloke here. I'm going to say Kawa Elias. Someone can let me know if I'm wrong. The Shakhtar Donetsk striker, very similar mould to Ryan in many ways. We've picked him up for a cheaper price than we sold Ryan for. Ryan has gone out for 50 million. Elias here signed for 46 million. And when you look at the head-to-head comparison, it's basically just a straight upgrade, isn't it? But at least for now, Ryan is still here to the end of the year. He's proven his worth at the club, as have various other players so far. Double-figure goals for Mora, Elise, Fernandez, and also Gadou. Yes, the set pieces are back. 19 jumping reach, and to be fair, Gadou has been one of the, I don't want to say surprise packages of the year, but we kind of signed him thinking he'd be more of a backup centre-back for £14.5 million. And to be honest, he's just kind of forced his way into the first team. He has improved so much. He is a really good centre-back. Obviously, that aerial threat is just a lovely weapon in his arsenal. And he just basically starts every game for us now at right centre-back, and I love him. In terms of assists, Livramento leads the way with 19. Elise, obviously 29 goal contributions in 35 games of the season. I think he's proven to be worth the money we paid for him. I suppose when I say that, I have to say it with the caveat of so far, because I do feel like success this year is going to be judged primarily by Premier League success, which at this point feels like a surefire thing, and also trying to do better than we did last year in the Champions League. We lost in the semi-final, up first at Napoli, where we start away from home. And we're going to get into that game now. Now, in terms of team news, I have rotated the team very heavily as of late. I'm going to use that as the excuse for losing to Everton recently. But what it does mean is we're pretty well rested for this game. Dorgu has recently picked up a long-term injury, but to be honest, Juve had been playing as our left wing-back anyway. And the only other man missing today is going to be Benjamin Sesko, who obviously has had that long-term injury. You can see here, if we look at the fitness test, which I can't mouse over for some reason. Can I do it here? I can. Apparently a fitness test is not required. I don't think it's worth the risk while he's still carrying a knock. CDK's been good for us. I'm keeping faith in him today up front. Don't feel like we can afford to underestimate Napoli here. They've got McTominay, who's a bit of a demon, and of course, given the fact he's a former Manchester United player, no doubt he's going to pop up at some point. Lorenzo Luca, a Football Manager Hall of Famer, is up top for them. And of course, they have still got Kevin De Bruyne, who at this point you have to assume his legs are kind of going, given that we're a few more years in the future than even real life. But hey, we'll see what happens here as Buwadi and Juve look to unlock the defence. On the far side, Juve bringing it forward. There's loads of players in the middle for the left-back. He could go on his own. He did. He probably shouldn't have. He should have passed it, shouldn't he? Last season, we really saw that difference maker of the home and away advantage in Champions League games over two legs. Given the fact we're away from home for this first leg, I'm going to hope we can just set ourselves up for success at Old Trafford. We are playing, by the way, the 4-2-3-1. I've been using this for the vast majority of games this year. I feel like of all the defensive shapes we've kind of experimented with over the last year or two, it's just one that has consistently performed well. As well, De Bruyne, I mentioned he might not have legs. He doesn't need legs to shoot like that, apparently. He might not have a turn of pace anymore. He's got the finesse if you give him an inch of space at the edge of the box to wrap his foot around it. And it's the former Man City man wearing sky blue who finds the back of the net. If you are wondering, like me, at 9 acceleration, 7 pace, to be fair, his technicals are demonic, aren't they? He's very good still. That was Napoli's first and only shot on target inside the first 20 minutes, so I'm not going to overreact just yet. Politano for them on the far side with a chance to maybe be putting a ball of quality. Players queuing up in the middle as well. He whips it in. It's headed away by Murillo. CDK can't get to the rebound. De Bruyne at the edge of the box again. Don't do it again. Loads of men behind the ball for us as we force Napoli to go backwards. But it's Di Lorenzo forward. Luca is surely off there. He was. It wouldn't have counted. Okay, I assume this is going to be half-time here, unless there's to be some last late-minute drama. Not a load of chances for either team in this first half. And yeah, that is going to conclude things at the break here. It is 1-0 Napoli. To be honest, if we go into the second leg only a goal down, I kind of feel like we're okay. They have scored from their only shot on target, so despite all the possession they're having, they're really not creating a lot with it. We have got the second leg of this game in just a week's time, and after that, at that next weekend, it's the Carabao Cup. So there's a lot of big games coming up today. I kind of wanted to manage the minutes if I could. To be fair, given the quality we've got on the bench with players like Mora and Estevao, if I am underwhelmed with what I'm seeing, we can make kind of wholesale changes to try and shake things up. And you know what? I think I've seen enough here. CDK is looking anxious. Fernandez is looking anxious. Let's get in the big guns. I am going to bring in Sesko up front despite his injury. Mora is going to come in for Fernandez. Elise is not the worst game in the world, but you know what? Fresh legs of Esteval, I feel like can be a difference maker. Esteval has improved a lot this year, even if his minutes have dropped from the previous season. And it is the same for Mora, who did pick up European Golden Boy this year, which is a really promising sign for him. Juve's not had the best game at left mid, and this is the kind of game where maybe I would look upon Dorgu. We have got Rico Henry on the bench, but I think I'm going to leave it with Juve for now. The left back, to be honest, has been pretty good for us, and I'm going to hope that with a trio of fresh legs in the final third, we can make something happen here. Mora showing a little bit of intent there, perhaps, immediately on off the bench with an effort. I hate to do the thing where you kind of push up your glasses and go, well, statistically in this game, we have been the better team. They've had a lot of the ball, not created anywhere near the same number of shots as us. We've been pretty good here so far. And yet Kevin De Bruyne is over a corner. Don't do it, Kev. It's whipped towards the back post. It's cleared off the line. Oh, my word. Benjamin Sesko gets it away from danger. That was terrifying. And it would have felt like a proper kick in the gonads, wouldn't it, had Napoli scored there. Politano tries to get it. Murillo wins his tackles. We love to see it. I feel like with 14 minutes left here, maybe, just maybe, 1-0 is absolutely fine. It might be fine. It might not be what we're going to get, though, because there is another set piece for us to defend here. That corner was already dangerous. This one's whipped in. Gay clears it away. De Bruyne gives it at the edge of the box. It's played to Politano, who probably should have hit the target better. The temptation to go on attacking just for the last 10 minutes here is kind of real. Obviously, away goals aren't the same factor they once were in Europe, but just based on how this game has played out, I wouldn't mind committing players forward, because I do think if we can get that kind of crucial goal to draw level, it would definitely kind of swing the balance of the game in our favour. Then again, if they get the next goal, maybe I'm an idiot. Chiesa's bringing it forward for them, the former Liverpudlian man back in Italy in this universe. He looks to play inside to Kevin De Bruyne, who's hit the woodwork. That is terrifying. Politano's dispossessed. I'm not enjoying this. They have still only had one shot on target. We've not created nearly enough in the latter stages of this game to justify going on attacking. But we've got a week to dust ourselves off, and I feel like we can come back from this. Very underwhelming not to score. I'm hoping a fully fit Benjamin Sesko for the next game can maybe be a difference maker. I mentioned a midweek game. It's Bristol City in the FA Cup. As you can perhaps imagine, I'm going to play a rotated team for that one. Also, Murillo's injured anyway. He should be back for the second leg. Looking at the calendar, that second leg is only a week away. In fact, it's less than a week. It's 6 days away. I'm going to go rest up the players. I'm going to be back in a mo. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so plan executed in midweek. We dismantled Bristol City. I just realised the screen's bugged, so you can't actually see the score. But we beat them 5-0. Yeah, we really rotated the team for this game. To be fair, it took the subs coming on to get some late goals to secure it, but it does mean that we are nicely rested for the game today, which of course is against Napoli. The only real kind of game time decisions, I guess, are do we rush Sesko back into the team? And I think we kind of have to. We need goals. He's our main man. The other man is Murillo, whose fitness level is not the best here. I guess the solution would be to play Gay at left back and then bring in Yoro to play at centre back, which isn't ideal, but Murillo's not going to last the entire game, and his position is very mobile with how we tend to play. In terms of the rest of the team for today's game, it's kind of unchanged. It's a very well-rested team at this point, which I'm hoping is going to put in a significantly better performance going forward in this game at home. Anyway, let's get into this game. I'm ready for it. The Champions League theme tune is blaring. Lukaku is up top for them. There's a fair few former players of the Premier League and of Manchester United and Man City, isn't there, in this game? These are the kind of matches that I signed Tchouaméni and Elise for massive money in the summer. I need them to step up in this game and make some magical stuff happen for us. As well, is this a kickoff highlight? No, normally this highlight ends by this point. Are we going to have early drama here? Is this going to be another vintage Champions League night in this series? Buadi is bringing it forward. And, well, he's forced a corner. An early goal would really galvanise the team. It would put them on the back foot. Bruno's going to hopefully put in a ball of quality towards Godou, who, well, he's in double figures for goals, and you can kind of see why. That 19 jumping reach at the near post is a lethal combo. 20 minutes played here. We still find ourselves a goal down, but that can change quickly. Livramento gives it to Elise, charging forward, cutting inside. burns past everyone. It's only his second goal in the Champions League. It's a big goal though. I mentioned that money that we'd spent in the summer on players like Elise. When you spend, close to £100 million, you need a return. That there is one hell of a return to get. Napoli, much like the first game, dominating possession, but we have limited their opportunities and we've created significantly more going forward here when we do look to break with pace. Okay, Bruno over the corner. There are going to be players in the middle to aim for. Can he pick out one of them? It is Gadou under it. It's cleared away, but only as far as Elise. Back to Bruno, cutting inside. How has he squeezed that in? It's an Elise assist, but make no mistake, that goal is all about the finish. I don't want to throw the goalie under the bus, but he's been beaten by tight angles twice here, and I think that's to be an inquest into how has that snuck in. We've got 2 goals, the wind is in our sails, but, well, Napoli are looking for the immediate response. It's Thiago Almada who just runs into trouble. Of course, a bit of a Football Manager Hall of Famer Almada. I assume he's still very good this year, although he's not the wonder kid he once was. He is now just a good footballer, isn't he? Anyway, we've won the ball here. It's Bouadi who, well, in this universe, is a great footballer. In real life, he's a wonder kid. He has developed superbly. He won the ball. He set up the ball, which, well, was whipped in by Juve. That looping header was almost magical. De Bruyne with the ball. Of course, he was the man who put Napoli ahead in this game. And now, well, if they want to come back, you've got to imagine he needs to contribute. David Neres dispossessed by Gay. Sesko wide to Elise. Trying to make something happen here. Looking for the Livramento overlap. Goes on his own. Oh, my word. It was a run and a half. It's a shame it didn't end up in a goal. So far, so good for us in this game. We are 2 goals to the good, and you have to say, we really, really deserve it. 2 minutes into this second half, Napoli are already on the back foot. Oh, my word. Okay, I thought Bruno was fouled there. Apparently, that was a clean tackle from behind. Not entirely convinced, but you do you, Football Manager. Gay to Tchouaméni. Next goal in this game is going to be pivotal. If we get it, we could be cruising. Elise charges forward and just didn't keep his shot down. Sesko isn't having the best of games today, and given the fact he's coming back from injury, I don't really see much value in keeping him on, so we'll bring in CDK. Juve for left wing-back's been a little bit quiet. We'll bring in Rico Henry with, of course, Dorgu out injured. Tchouaméni at defensive mid hasn't been at his best either. How do I want to change things up here? You know what? We'll bring in Basuma. Changes haven't gone through yet, and Napoli are in possession. Have I made those changes half a second too late? I really hope not. Di Lorenzo with the ball here. Back to Lobotka. Napoli playing it around at the back and playing with fire. Sesko, due to come off the pitch, has a one-on-one. Should finish it. Doesn't finish it. That is going to be his last bit of action for this game. He could have bowed out on a high. That was the best chance of the game. It is still just a 1-goal game here at Old Trafford. They've had 1 shot on target, 2 shots total. We've dominated this game in all but possession. But another goal here would really help me settle my nerves. I'm just staring at the clock. I'm just staring at the timer, watching it tick by here. They have done so little in this game, Napoli. Going forward, I feel like we've done everything well in this game, but get a 3rd goal to really kill it off. There's 10 minutes left. I don't want to change anything here. I hope it's a decision I'm not going to live to regret. Livramento has the ball on the near side. Let's get that extra goal. Let me enjoy the last bit of this game. CDK, Bouadi, Bruno through, one-on-one. We've missed a lot of those kind of chances. And they're the kind of chances which, look, they might not cost us today, although they really still could. But in the bigger games, we've got to finish these chances. 3 minutes left. I was hoping maybe I'd be able to rest some players ahead of the Carabao Cup final. It's not going to happen, but we are going to get over the line here. It was a bit of an unspectacular second half, but we did what we needed to do. It's a good comeback, a nice victory, well done. And well, now with Brentford just 5 days away, I suppose it's time to rest up the players. Elise in form, a goal and an assist. I mean, it's what we've brought him in to do. He has got, to be fair, 8 goal contributions in 8 games in the Champions League. And in the league, he's got 15 goal contributions as well. Make no mistake, Elise has been great for us. Anyway, I am going to rest up these players. I don't really plan on changing the team too much going into this next one. We should be beating Brentford. We should be beating Mourinho. Let's go and try and win this competition for a 2nd year in a row. Okay, it is time for the Carabao Cup final. I feel like there's not too much pressure on us here, and this is a game we should win easily. Obviously, we won it last year. It'd be nice to retain our title. Only downside about the Carabao Cup, Diouf is cup tied. He played for West Ham before we signed him. And Lacroix is also cup tied. But besides that, we are at full strength for today's game. It is a good, well-rested team. I suppose given how well we've done when it comes to league form, we do find ourselves kind of in this position now where, well, to be frank, I can just play a full-strength team and rotate in the league. Quickly sorting out the team. Murillo's back from injury. Gay's going to go in at centre-back. But yeah, I'm confident here. I'm hoping this is not going to be really misplaced. It's another rainy day at Wembley. I feel like we've seen many of these over the last 12 months. It's our 4th trip to Wembley as Manchester United manager. I'm hoping it's going to continue to be a happy hunting ground. We've never lost here. Of course, Rico Henry at left-back, a former Brentford man. As for Elise, a man familiar with London clubs. Can he pop up with a goal? He hits the woodwork. It's cleared away by Nathan Collins. I mean, Brentford could maybe hit us on the break, although we've got loads of players behind the ball. It's the first real chance of the game, and, well, to be honest, it's been quiet besides that effort. Half an hour played, the rain is continuing to lash down as Brentford look to go direct and instead simply surrender us possession. Livramento burns his man, gives it to Elise. He plays it forward to the outside of his foot to Bruno. There's players queuing up in the middle. Bruno skips past his man, pulls it back to Elise, who, I'm going to be honest, he has to keep the shot down. That wasted effort by Elise is probably the closest we've come to scoring in this game as... Well, I was going to say at the break, it's 0-0. It may well still be 0-0 at the break here. We've been on top in this game, but without really creating enough. Is there time for a late twist? Elise, looking to run wide perhaps, gives it to Livramento. There's Sesko in the middle to aim for. Livramento is dancing. He shoots! Oh, my word. Oh my, he might be the best signing I've made as manager at Manchester United. I wish I understood what made him so good at right back and why my left wing backs can't replicate it. The way in which he just dances inside, shifts the ball with the outside of his foot, wraps his weaker foot around it and finds the top bins. That goal there makes the team talk perhaps a little easier as we head in at the break. We have been the better team in this game and I feel like now, finally, the scoreline does reflect it. Rico Henry edged the box against his former club. Free kick was not dealt with and oh my word, Elise, that was filth. A finish like that might be criminal. The highlight started very late. I think it was a free kick taken by Bruno that was cleared away. But I'll tell you what, Mr. Elise, we might have to call the police, because that finish is stupendous. I think it's safe to say that Elise is justifying his price tag in today's episode. He has been at the heart of everything we've done in the last couple of games. Massive, massive influence, and I suppose that's what you expect when you bring in a world-class player. That said, let's not get complacent just yet. Brentford at the post, Vitaly Janelt with a massive finish. What was that effort? There is like a thing in the match engine at the moment where players just don't really react to the woodwork being hit. I feel like our centre-backs are maybe guilty of that there. That is a stupendous finish into the top bins on the rebound, though. Going to make a trio of changes. Kobe Mainoo's coming in. Mora and CDK, the other players we're bringing on in the final third. Bruno, Sesko and Buadi have all been just a little bit quiet today and not at their best. And I suppose with the depth that we've been able to build up at this club over the last couple of seasons with our transfers, we are now kind of in this situation where I feel confident just changing the team as I see fit. That said, I mean, if they get one goal back, suddenly we have to panic. They've hit the post. It falls to Chevalier. The subs have not yet gone through. That was a warning. Brentford have had 2 shots on target. To be fair, we've only had 4. It's not like we've been some high-quality, super great team today, but at least for now, we're doing what we need to do. Cone for them is going to look to launch the ball long. Mainoo wins the header, falls to CDK. He gives it to Rico Henry, who's looking to cut inside, dinks it to CDK. The number 11 takes it down. It's a stupendous finish that should put us beyond reach. Charles de Ketelera, remember the name. The Belgian forward signed from Syria to kind of be a plan B to Sesko, a similarly physical player. Maybe not the same natural finisher, although that was a pretty nice finish, wasn't it, by the striker? Well, if Mourinho's plan was to shut us down in this game, they did it for 40 minutes, but to be honest, we have just been in complete control of this game. 3 minutes of added time shown on the board. We are going to retain the Carabao Cup. And it's moments like these where I wish I had a can of Carabao to toast with. Someone mentioned to me the other day the fact the Carabao Cup is meant to have 3 handles, and the fact it only has 2, I'll be honest, it's ruined my immersion. We win it for a 2nd year in a row. The confetti falls again. Hopefully it's going to fall a few more times before the end of the season. With that, we qualify for the Europa League. Obviously, we should be getting Champions League football And well, with today's episode, I feel like now we really get to the crunch point in the season. Yes, we've won one trophy, but we're still in the FA Cup. We are cruising at the top of the Premier League. Games in hand actually now put us really in just a mad position. If we don't win the league from here, I've really messed up. And I think naturally focus has to now shift to the Champions League. We have got Porto in a few games' time. It's a big set of games. It's the quarterfinals. We went beyond it last year. I'm going to hope we can do it again this year. I will see you guys with that next time. Until then, take things easy. Have a lovely rest of your day. It's me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.